Hi, my name is Christina, and I will be doing a review on the book The Voice Catchers by Joseph Turow. I want to talk about a few themes that I found really important and were key takeaways for me, as well as how this could be applicable to one of my favorite brands. So, Turow's central argument is that as technology becomes more and more personalized, it also becomes more convenient, especially through voice and AI systems. And these systems, they continue to know more and more about us as we continue to use them. Uh, but as time progresses, it seems as though we know less and less about our data and how it's being used, where it's being used, and fundamentally why. This book aims to pretty much disclose that. Over time, this creates an environment where these types of surveillance measures feel normal, helpful, and can even be more emotionally supportive. So, the three key ideas that I want to touch on in this video are disclosure versus like concealment, habituation, and enmeshment. So, first, disclosure and concealment. These companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, Samsung, they technically disclose that they are collecting our data, but they rarely explain the full scope of how that data is being used, where, and why. Voice technologies, in particular, are marketed as tools for efficiency and ease, as there's no way direct information as soon as you need it can help you with so many tasks that just make your day-to-day fly by, be a little bit more smooth. These voice technologies in particular are marketed as tools for efficiency and ease, like I mentioned. But there's also convenience from both home and car, which Turow touched on. But behind this convenience is the vast data collection that is taking place and is used for targeted advertising, personalization, and behavioral inference. So Turow emphasizes that voice data is especially revealing from so many different metrics and biomarkers like our tone of voice, our behavior, how many people are in the room, uh, different types of speech patterns, and companies collect this data based on, demographics and emotional states, to create a personal like identity and persona. So while this disclosure is out there, you agree to the terms and conditions, no one truly knows is what they're using it for, which I find very, very interesting, which kind of leads me into my second point of habituation. We are growing in a time where technology is advancing every single day. And we don't even realize it until we're far beyond what has already come out. And as this continues to evolve, people have become conditioned to accept updates and upgrades and click through these terms and conditions, just scrolling and then not paying any mind to it. And the clicking I agree part of it just becomes automatic. No one's fully reading through. I'm sure there are some people, but I personally don't even read through them anymore. Innovation just moves faster and faster than ever. Public understanding over time just you consent, and it's more passive rather than informed, which creates this kind of comfort and trust in these companies as they quietly, below the surface, collect more and more data that is personalized directly to us, and we don't even realize it. Thirdly, this leads into enmeshment. So Turow essentially talks about how we're so embedded in these systems that collect our data, but marketing doesn't even feel like marketing anymore. And honestly, I have to agree. It wasn't until after I read this book where these sort of coincidences of advertisements of products that, I was thinking of purchasing, but I didn't quite want to yet, or I was still researching them, just get brought to my attention out of what seems like thin air. And that's where I feel this enmeshment comes in. We are so ingrained into these cycles, and we are so glued to our phones and our electronics and our voice AI systems that it's not until we take a step outside of our bubble where we realize how this data is being used, why we're being targeted, and marketing is no longer this broad category, but now it is so direct towards the consumer. We infer them as coincidences when in reality these are strategic marketing tools and ads. So those were my main takeaways. I also want to talk about a brand that I love, which is Owner Active. It's a women's athletic apparel brand made by women for women, and it markets like empowerment and confidence, as well as overall lifestyle identity. And I think Turow's framework doesn't suggest that brands like this are intentionally deceptive, but it does show how easily consumers can trust and become loyal to these brands, and how they can utilize that data to market strategic ads towards us. So it's like instead of passively collecting data, Owner Active could partner with customers to create like more ethical and contextual experiences. And a case that I have for this would be contextual experiences through data partnership. So a more responsible approach that aligns more with the brand itself and what they stand for, their overall branding, is an opt-in feature where customers knowingly choose to share limited information, like their types of interest in workouts and the areas in which they live to understand climates, as well as their training goals. And then in return, Owner Active could offer more of those types of contextual experiences rather than predict and utilize manipulative marketing with big data. So, for example, a customer can opt in, select Pilates as their workout of choice, describe their climate, and um, Owner Active could utilize those metrics and data to then infer what they believe would be the best workout style or set for them based on their interests, where they live, and other small information like color and size and stuff like that, but utilizing it in a way that is not deceptive and is more informative. So, in all, my view since reading this book has definitely changed. I feel as though I'm more aware, but also still enmeshed, and it was a great eye-opening experience. Thank you so much.